Yep, so we're moving into King's Row. This is map number 2, Melty striking first blood on, yes, Temple of Anubis. And now Arcane needing to come back and at least bring this back, should they wish to win 2 games in the set.
Yeah, and I kind of like that, you know, Melty went to Anubis, did something a little different. It maybe opens up that Melty might just be trying different strategies, that they're trying something different because what they're doing has not been working against at least the very top teams in EU, and they want to try something different. These are smart guys, able to theory craft, able to try to find new compositions.
So taking a look at the defense as it comes out for Arcane, we're going to have Miker on the Zenyatta, Kratos on Lucio, Razor's Edge on the Reaper, Sanchez on Lucio, Noob on the Symmetra, and Ruster rounding things out on McCree. So, oh yeah, Kratos is switching the Reinhardt. That's just they're merely speed boosting out the Symmetra.
Yeah, we got to start looking for that on defense. You gave away the tip, and now it's going to totally throw off us trying to call compositions. Good job.
Yeah, I was about to say we haven't seen double Lucio in a long time, but
yeah, it was a weird time to
see it
for
here.
a bit. But you know, a Reinhardt on defense on this map is pretty standard. There is kind of a strange comp coming out from our offense if they choose to stick with this. It is a variation of the double orb, but it's only single orb. I don't even know what to call this. Bot is going to be on an offensive Symmetra. Pipo's going to run on Widowmaker. Muna will be Zenyatta. D-Gun on Tracer. Nico on Genji. Cabal on Pharah. So they are going tankless, going super damage oriented. Symmetra's going to buff everyone up, and then Moonal's gonna, yeah, there goes the second Zenyatta. Moonal and Cabal are gonna try to give out the orbs too, so it is the double orb composition with a Genji and a Widow and a Tracer.
Yep, so taking a look at Pipu in the beginning, Pipu taking up the Widow mantle as opposed to Nico this time around. He does get one shot off in the beginning, doesn't get a kill. We'll see just what we can do here. We've seen Widows do a lot in King's Row, and then we've seen Widows do nothing, so we'll see in just a moment where Pipu stands on this for the Melty side of things. And there it is, he does get a pick on Miker through the, like, in the very gap between the wall and the Reinhardt shield. That was good stuff coming out. 2 kills for Melty, leading it out, but here comes Arcane with 3 kills of their own. So both teams down 3 players right now. We see Razor's Edge going pretty deep in, trying to kill Munel. Munel, though, not having any of it, and now Arcane a little bit on the defensive here. You're gonna see Reinhardt just back out a bit, waiting for his team. Respawns will be back in soon, but for now, Melty definitely threatening and pushing forward.
Yeah, way too aggressive chasing kills there. I don't think they had any business going out front there. They also lost their Symmetra during that, and she's unable to drop that teleporter.
Nico and D-Gun getting 2 kills apiece, and Pipu out-sniping Ruster, so this is going to be a complete victory on point A for Melty, and a very quick time to boot.
Yeah, very quick, and I think that the aggressive defense works out, and it looks really good and dominating sometimes. You get the style points for just really pushing a team back to their spawn, but they did not have to play the aggressive defense that they did there, and absolutely punished for it. Look how far up we're going to see D-Gun and Nico now.
Yeah, Melty now very interested in pushing far up, making all the space in the world for the payload. They're only actually pushing with the payload with 2 right now, deciding that it's more worth it to push the other team back, and honestly makes a lot of sense. I mean, people are much harder to dislodge once they get deeper into the streets. So taking a look here, Nico will be having a Dragon Blade out soon. And Dragon Blade, of course, we've seen it do a lot of work for Genjis over time. Certainly buffed up Genjis with Orb and Shields, and here comes Nico. He's actually going in the flank for that right now.
Yeah, another very aggressive posture here on the defense, and they're trying to take advantage of them.
Nico with 2, now 3 kills on the Dragon Blade, 4 kills for Nico on the Dragon Blade. Well set up, and as a result, Melty's gonna be able to just move right through the streets without a whole lot of resistance now.
I think the idea was to get past the very aggressive push that the Genji and Tracer were doing and just go to the cart, but perhaps not, as there's some chat things coming down. I don't know, they rushed towards the cart as a team and then essentially put themselves between the halves of the offensive pushes. It was an odd play, to say the least.
In any case, Melty is setting a very fast time here. Ruster able to take out Munel, the classic Tracer on Zenyatta assassination. Cabal, though, getting a bit of revenge. 2 kills now for the Melty side. Make it 3 kills as Melty maintaining momentum, mostly off the Genji work of Nico here.
Yeah, some switch-ups on defenses. They see that obviously they're outgunned right now, and what they're doing is not working. Kratos comes up onto the Winston, and they're going to run a Mei, and it's going to be played by Noob.
Nico is yet to be stopped, really, in this game. He is going very far in. He got the kill on Winston. Pipu now, with the Widow support, gets 2 kills of his own. That's a double kill for Pipu. And now, the presence here is just not existing for Arcane. Arcane is getting bullied back and soon they're not going to have much room left with the payload.
Yeah, and Ruster just went in 1v5 and tried to do something with Tracer, but just didn't even take a flank, just went dead ahead on it.
Is still laying tons of pressure on for the back, gets another pick. D-Gun takes out Kratos, it is now 6v4, still 6v3. Dragon Blade coming out for Nico. He has May in his sights, May gonna ice block it out. Cancels the ice block, gets sliced in the back of the head anyways. Tracer coming out, gets hit by the final swing of the Dragon Blade, and now Melty on the verge of setting an incredibly fast King's Row time.
Yeah, Arcane, and they just look like a team that hasn't played together. They look like a bunch of individuals instead of a team. As soon as they're coming out of spawn, they're just going right to try to get back in and fight again. They're not waiting for their team. They're not playing as a team, and it's because they have 3 new players. It's going to be tough to get that cohesion immediately, as this team is brand new and they're playing together for the first time today, and I think that's exactly what you're seeing.
Yep, well, take a look at this play of the game, Nico. Probably when he sliced down everyone in the streets, if I had to take a guess here.
Could be any moment of the game
it
for Nico.
It is. And the good thing, we were actually watching this as it happens. This is effectively an instant replay for all those watching right now here on our Game On Overwatch Arena Cup. So, Nico with a 24-player kill streak. I do not believe he died that entire game, or if he did, it was at the very, very end.
Pretty good stuff coming out of Nico, but it was just you could see kind of even the the newer players too, and even kind of the veteran players. I don't know what Ruster was doing trying to go to the cart. He was going straight into a team as Tracer, not an ideal situation for any Tracer. None of his team was up, and then when they were coming up, they were just running straight towards the cart, not regrouping as a team, and it just looked like it looked like a team that hasn't played together yet, and because they're a team that hasn't played together yet.
Yep, so we're going to be going to round 2 on King's Row. It is now going to be Arcane's time to show us their offensive chops. They are down a map, though, so should they fail to beat this time, they will be done for the day. They'll be the end of the set, and Melty will have 2 wins to their name.
Yeah, which would actually be pretty big for Melty. And again, like, it's Arcane, and it's only half of Arcane that has played together. They're trying out 3 new players, but if you're Melty, at the end of the day, you just look at the result and say, hey, we went 2-0 today. That's all that matters, and you try to build upon that and try to get back to where you were at that top spot at EU.
So I'm going to point this out here. This is just a random lore note here. Before it was only Numbani, they had the entire Lucio in concert thing going on, but look at the subway of King's Row. Lucio is also coming to King's Row.
It's dropping beats, man. Maybe there's 2 Lucios.
I mean, this is one serious worldwide tour from Lucio. Can we talk about how Lucio's probably the only billionaire that is playing as a character in Overwatch, just going back? I mean, he seems like the Michael Jackson. You think back to how big Michael Jackson was in his prime. He seems like the Michael Jackson of the Overwatch world, so to speak.
Yeah, that's why his voice keeps changing. He's just trying out different looks for different concept albums.
So, taking a look at the Melty defense as a subsidiary, we have Cabal on the Zenyatta, Nico on the Genji yet again, Bod on Symmetra, Pipu on McCree, D-Gun on the Torbjorn, and Munel rounding things out on the Reinhardt. So double builder defense coming out now for Melty.
Yeah, because they know they set a pretty good time. They only really have to delay things out. But the offense is in position with the composition that they have to try to get a very fast time. They're going to run Kratos on Symmetra. Razor's Edge will be playing a Genji. Micker and Sanchez will be playing the Zenyatas. Ruster will be Tracer, and they are going to round it out with an offensive Widowmaker played by Noob.
Yep, so curious to see what Noob brings here. We haven't seen him on Widow really. I mean, I don't think we've seen him period, so always good to see new Widows in the scene, but he's going to eat some spam from Zenyatta to start this out, so has to be a little bit careful. Definitely don't want to get picked off by Zen when you're playing Widow. And he comes very, very close to picking off Nico there, so almost doing some work.
Yeah, really, they're kind of waiting for that first pick to be able to just, snowball this composition into something else. It's difficult with the Reinhardt shield, but that shield is taking a lot of damage, could go down shortly. Razor's Edge is going to get in and try to put some pressure on, too.
So, Nico is able to take out Sanchez. Now it's going to be the first kill of the game. Noob, though, striking back, takes out Bod. Nico still doing work in the back line, takes out another E-Gun in the back. Both teams sort of losing people here, but does seem to be a little bit favored towards Melty on this defense because they still have all those defensive turrets up.
Yeah, I mean, essentially a stacked roster, so you can lose people as long as you're not losing the machines along with them. I mean, it's always going to be 6 versus 6.5 once that turret's up.
Yep.
Teleporter not down yet, I don't think. That's one of the consequences of losing Bod so early to the snipe.
And taking a look here, we do see the defense of Melty sort of starting to stabilize a bit. They're just staying behind the turrets, they're using them to their advantage, and they're making really the offensive Arcane have to go through stuff that they probably don't want to go through here.
No, they're going to have to find a different angle for attack, and actually like this, they've gone down.
But look at that,
Nice.
Ruster threads the needle, gets in with the pulse bomb, takes out 2 members of Melty. Sanchez takes out Bod, and now, just like that, Arcane generating a bit of momentum for themselves.
This full core is going to help.
They still might have a teleporter up, however, so they really need to get the point established right now. But they are doing just that. They do take out Lunel. The turrets are getting slaughtered left, right, and center. Torbjorn going to go down as well, so Arcane now with a bit of momentum. I'm not sure Melty's going to be able to reverse this before the payload starts moving on its way.
Yeah, and that's the momentum they desperately need. Really smart there, too. Once the Molten Core went off, you see a lot of teams will just be like, well, if we all focus it, it'll be fine. But that's very dangerous. They waited for the Molten Core to wear off, ended up taking it out.
So our timer on here froze for some reason, but what we do know is that really there's not that much time left for Arcane in this map. They have to just basically go straight shot from there all the way to the end if they want any chance of winning. But I really think Melty's going to make this hard, though. If Melty gets even a single wipe in the streets, I'm pretty sure it's going to be GG.
Yeah, and Melty's definitely playing the stall game, as they did have a teleporter up. It does get taken out, but that does kind of reveal their strategy, as we're going to stall out again on this point, and you see the turret up here, too. With no roster composition changes, that's definitely the
here we do have the Dragon Blade coming out from Nico, going to the backline, has Sanchez in his sights, will slice him down, and is just going to sort of grab the health and poke from the back here, I believe.
Speaking of teleporters, the offensive teleporter is now up in this tunnel too, so they're going to be able to reinforce very far ahead of the cart.
And also while that was gone, Peepoo was able to get a double kill as well. Razor's Edge trying to fight off, will die to Peepoo, and Peepoo really just sort of regulating anyone who gets near the payload. And I gotta think that at this point, time-wise, barring the push of pushes, this has to be GG for Melty. I just can't see Arcane going full ham 3 on the payload this entire rest of the game.
Yeah, they were thinking way too far ahead. They thought that cart was going to be there, but unfortunately the McCree in the backlines was able to outduel everyone and stop anyone from pushing the cart. The teleporter was way far ahead, but it actually served almost no purpose.
Yeah, right now we're taking a look at Arcane. Arcane, Razor's Edge, gun pull off the Dragon Blade, going in the back, but gets countered immediately by Transcendence. Still gets Nico, wasn't able to get the Transcendence in time, but they shift Dragon Blade, so at least getting a little bit of value. Both Genjis are going to go down for both teams here, as Melty continues to hold on the defense. Offensive Transcendence coming out from Sanchez. Ruster with 2 kills onto the Melty side. So nice stuff coming up there, but GG's are being called. Just not enough time remaining for Arcane. Now Arcane was making a pretty good offensive run there, Axe. It's just they need to be nearly perfect to beat the time set by Melty.
Yeah, and I think you see, like, you know, an offensive team is better suited when you don't have necessarily the cohesion, because a lot of it's going to be about getting kills. It doesn't really require the same amount of coordination that a defense does, but they improved, actually, from, like, map 1 to 2. Map 1's kind of a wash because of Anubis, but from half to half they improved, so maybe they're finding some cohesion in this roster. Maybe we'll see these guys actually in Arcane, but it's kind of a mix-up with the core of Arcane. It's not necessarily the team that we're used to seeing, but Melty will take it. Like I said, Melty, beggars can't be choosers, and Melty hasn't seen a lot of wins lately. They'll take these 2 happily.
Yep. So, play the game coming up from Ruster. This has to be one of his great pulse bombs. He did sort of break open point A at one point earlier, but no, this is going to be towards the end of the game. I think after Melty had already officially won, but take a look at what he's doing here. How is that play the game and not a pulse bomb? I really do think something is messed up with the play of the game algorithm, and I think it might be what you said. If you're near an objective, you get more credit than simply, you know, killing a bunch of people away from the objectives.
Yeah, they definitely waited, you know, because they do want it to be an objective-based game. We talked about this yesterday, that the objectives win games, not kills, and I think Blizzard's trying to point that out to people as well. I like slaughter plays of the game myself. I agree with you that, you know, there were some better plays of the games that ended with much more carnage, but I'm not the one writing the algorithm for the system. I couldn't even read it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're running the play the game system actually has interesting things that they're trying to balance there. You know, particularly one thing that they haven't really figured out is how to do it for supports without having supports get play the game all the time.
Right.
But on the same note, if you're a Mercy player, it feels pretty bad that you never get play the game unless you have the pistol play of your life.
Right, but it used to be if you picked Zenyatta at the beginning of the match, you were almost assured play of the game. So, yes. I mean, some balancing, you know.